Hello and welcome back to Simple Money Podcast, Canada's own personal finance podcast, presented in informative and short episodes. I'm your host, Matthew Sewick, also known as the Friendly Financial Coach. We're back from the winter break, and we hope that everyone had an amazing holiday season. Today we're going to continue our discussion on post-secondary education planning and look at a very important topic. The Canada Learning Bond is a special grant that is available to Canadian households that have family net income under about $46,000. This grant can heavily help individuals access post-secondary education and other forms of study. To discuss this grant in detail, we have Luke Connell from SmartSAVER. SmartSAVER is an incredible charity that helps families plan for post-secondary education and brings awareness about government funding to help families achieve this goal. So here's Luke.
Hi, I am Luke Connell. I am the Executive Director of the Omega Foundation, and we run the SmartSAVER program. And SmartSAVER is a national charity that encourages and provides access to education grants for low-income families' education. And when we're talking about that, we're talking about the RESP, which you guys are familiar with. So the RESP we really see as a cup or a jar that a family needs to access the education savings grants that are available. And once a family has an RESP open, there is a fantastic thing called the Canada Learning Bond. The Canada Learning Bond is a grant that provides up to $2,000 into an RESP that requires no financial contribution from the family. So what we're talking about when we talk about the Learning Bond is free money for a child's post-secondary education. So at SmartSAVER, we provide access and awareness of RESPs that require no cost and no required contribution. And then you can in fact go to any bank or credit union and a number of other RESP providers and access an account that doesn't require any money. And for families who have a net household income under around $46,000, they are able to access the Canada Learning Bond. So again, if the household income is under $46,000, they are able to access up to $2,000 in education funding through the Canada Learning Bond. And that $2,000 would be deposited into a family's RESP. If you'd like more information on how to access this as well, you could visit our website. It's www.smartsaver.org, where you could begin the application process to access it as well. So I'd like to go into more detail quickly about the eligibility for the Canada Learning Bond. We've already discussed the income eligibility. It's also for children who were born January 1st, 2004 or later. So these are kids who are in grade 9 or younger right now, and they would be entitled to access their CLB. The way the CLB pays out, and I mentioned this earlier, it's up to $2,000, is it pays out in installments. So the first installment for the Canada Learning Bond is a $500 contribution. This is followed by $100 contributions every year until the child turns 15 years old. An important feature of the Canada Learning Bond is that it's fully retroactive. This means that for years where you didn't have the account open, you can access those previous grant amounts. So to give an example of that, if you were to open the account for a 5-year-old and they were eligible for the previous 5 years based on income, you'd be able to access the first $500 installment plus the 5 years of $100 installments for a first-time payment into the RESP of $1,000. Every year thereafter, $100 would be contributed, and by the time the child turns 15, it would maximize at $2,000. So in terms of retroactivity of the CLB for children after 15, a child will be able to access their Canada Learning Bond until they turn 21. So the important thing here is that as students who are currently eligible graduate from high school, they'd be able to apply before their first day of school, open the RESP, access the $2,000 grant, and use that money for any post-secondary expenses. So we quickly are trying to work with student aid offices in different universities to highlight the opportunity and say, look, access this money before you take your loan, because this is $2,000 you don't need to borrow. In terms of what the Canada Learning Bond can be used for, it can be used for anything associated with post-secondary. So it can be used for tuition. It can also be used for books or text or bus pass or rent or even a plane ticket to or from school. So we see this as a really important thing for families to take advantage of, because it's not often that you can access up to $2,000 to take care of expenses that are tied to university or college. Another important facet of the Canada Learning Bond is that it's not only for 4 years of full-time university study. It can be used for any college, trade, or apprenticeship program, as well as any skill or certificate programs. One great example I like to think of is that it can be used for a forklift driving certificate or a WHMIS certificate, which helps someone who's working in construction achieve a higher paying job. So it's not only about post-secondary outcomes, it's also about skill upgrades. So when you think, I'm not sure what my child will be, it doesn't matter, because the Canada Learning Bond can help them excel in that profession, whatever they choose to be. So if you wanted to access your Canada Learning Bond, the simple way to do this would be to go into your credit union or bank and ask for a financial advisor who could open up an RESP account. And just by opening the account, they automatically would apply for your Canada Learning Bond. Once this application is submitted, the Government of Canada would determine whether you're eligible and then directly deposit that money in the account. Unlike other deposits into the RESP, such as a parent would make, the Canada Learning Bond can't be withdrawn before the child graduates from high school and enrolls. But this is a great thing to keep in there. And we see the $2,000 as a great way to motivate a child and build expectation on them that post-secondary is what's expected of them. So we talk to parents all the time who have accessed their RESP, accessed their Canada Learning Bond, and have told us that they use this to help their kids do their homework. They can say to them, hey, look, we opened this account, we access this government money for you, and that money's for your school. So make sure you do your homework tonight. So I think it's more than just the money. It's really some expectation and hope, sort of a financial form. And the importance behind this is only around 1/3 of families who are eligible for their Canada Learning Bond have accessed this. So you're not alone when you think, oh goodness me, I haven't taken advantage of this program. There are over 2 million kids in Canada who haven't accessed it. So don't be shy. Make sure you talk to your bank, go into your credit union and ask for this, because it's a free benefit with no catch. So to sort of tie things off, I think it's really important to first identify why families don't have the Canada Learning Bond. And the number one issue that we've addressed is awareness. When we talk to families and mention that the government has a $2,000 kickstart into an RESP that requires no money, sometimes there's skepticism and people don't believe it, but most of the time people just never heard of it. So don't assume that everyone is aware of this and has theirs already. Spread the word. Make sure people know what the Canada Learning Bond is, and all they have to do is go into their bank and ask for it. And as well, if you want to send them online and get them connected to information there, as well as begin the pathway to accessing the Canada Learning Bond, they can always visit SmartSAVER. And again, our website is www.smartsaver.org.
Thanks again for that in-depth look, Luke. As you can see, the Canada Learning Bond is an incredible resource available to vulnerable Canadian households. Even if this grant doesn't apply to you, it may apply to someone in your social circle. And if you have any questions, I highly encourage you to contact SmartSAVER or myself. You can contact me directly at info@ffcoach.ca or find me on Twitter at @f_fcoach. Take care and talk to you next week.